Hello everybody and welcome to the latest round of the League Zero Super Formula Championship at a new circuit here on iRacing, the Autódromo Hermanos Rodríguez for the Salsa Verde Grand Prix of Mexico, presented by Insta. It is another double race night, 9 laps in the sprint, 28 in the feature, and lots of racing to come, so very much going to enjoy it on a new circuit. Not too many people have taken us up this evening, but 18 on the grid, which should be good. Lots of drivers learning a new track as well, which is always fun to see. Myself, Ian Leary, and Dean Biggles alongside me for this round of the championship. Once again, Biggles, it's going to be a lot of fun here today, that's for sure. A new circuit's always interesting to watch because nobody really knows, well, they know where they're going, but mistakes are more likely, and that does make it more unpredictable and more entertaining for us.
Absolutely, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. We're noticing during practice session a lot of mistakes that were creeping up for drivers. Once again, probably getting to know the terms of this track, as you mentioned there. So it's the Inca, of course, are presenting this one tonight here in Autódromo Hermanos Rodríguez, right up in a very high altitude as well too there, Ewan. Up in the, well, if you've ever been in Mexico City, it's quite high, put it that way.
Yeah, and by the way, it is simulated on iRacing as well, the altitude, so it's something to bear in mind. Elliot Court is the current championship leader by 31 points out of Jaden Callaway, who moved up last week. Gonzalo Perez moved down to third, but he's still there or thereabouts, just in front of Noddy ML, who really made a splash in his first race of the season. I think it was his first race, wasn't it? Last week? Oh no, sorry, second, as it says there. Elliot Rolls runs out the top 5. JT Smitten dropped down. Unfortunately, he's not going to be at many of the rounds this season, so he's going to continue to drop. Fabian Sanchez, Adam Merchant, Max Shabley and Antonio Bianchi round out the top 10. But Noddy ML is back here today as well, and Elliot Court and Jaden Callaway are here as well, 1 and 2 in the championship, and they're 1 and 2 in this qualifying session at the moment as well. So we're starting to get a bit of a feel for who's going to be up towards the front by the end. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like reigning champion Adam Merchant is going to be here for enough rounds to properly defend his title. He was only at one of the first 3 rounds, and he's missing another one here tonight, so he's not going to be around to defend his title, I don't think. Callaway will look to regain that as well. He was reigning champion, of course, last season and had that crown stolen away from him. And he's just gone even further out front with that pole position, over a second ahead of the rest.
Wow, absolutely impressive. Elliot Rolls just takes Elliot Court into P2. But this is going to be the man to target, obviously, here this evening. That's going to be one that the drivers are going to be doing. Of course, we do have 2 of the natives here. Mexicans? I shouldn't say Mexicanos. Mexicans, my apologies on that one. Of course, here for the Inca Salsa GP. And they haven't got a lap there from Carlos Balanes, and Ricardo Espino has got a time on the board, and that's him currently at the moment. Your pictures there, Ewan.
Yeah, you can imagine everyone from that part of the world who's racing on iRacing has been longing for this circuit for a very long time. Unfortunately, it's taken the NASCAR Cup Series to go here to to actually get that to happen. But anyway, iRacing is an American company, so it just makes sense, I suppose, after all. And yeah, it's finally in. And I'm glad that they have included the whole circuit rather than just the NASCAR version, which I could very much see them doing.
Yeah.
But thankfully they've included it all, which is I think that, this circuit's been in F1 for what, 10 years now, maybe more.
Yeah.
It's been on the F1 calendar. It's becoming a very, very, I think, a popular circuit. I certainly like this track. I've got to say, I think it provides good racing. It's a little bit of a shame it's at such high altitude, because the slipstream you'd get at sea level at this circuit would be absolutely insane. But the obviously effect is lower when you're all the way up here. Yeah,
it is quite interesting, as you mentioned. The air density and stuff like that would be occurring, of course, for the air intake that you need for these engines. Take us on board a lap around Mexico.
And let's see if Noddy ML continues first. He's just moved up to 3rd place. Hopefully we'll continue on. Not very much to do to begin with. Let's run up towards turn number 1. Spotting your braking point on the left-hand side before just hitting this apex normally, and then this second left-hander. About opening up the second one, you can certainly jump that curb. You actually jump a lot of the curbs around here very, very severely. Getting the run out of turn 3, very, very important for this next straight. Another good overtaking chance by the time you get down here at turn 4. The left-hander. Again, about opening this second right-hander up, as so many of these first half of the lap corners are. Then you get in towards turn 6, which is double apexed. Oh, a bit of a slide as Noddy ML tries to get back going here. Track temperature very high, by the way. And this is where those tyres are going to be screaming most, through the middle sector. Just left and right, and then you've got to open up this bit. It's all about opening up the run on the exits of these corners. It's this bit you're focusing on most. Oh, trying to get the run, and look at that snap there. It's good car control from Noddy ML to keep the car on circuit. Now down in towards turn 12, 90-degree right-hander. for coming into the stadium section, which is absolutely spectacular, I've got to say, and very well modelled in iRacing as well. Now into the final turn and across the line in a moment. It's it's a decent lap from Emil, although he's sliding all over the place throughout the circuit. It's hardly surprising. Track temperature at the moment 51 degrees. It can get quite hot in Mexico City, we know that, but this is very, very hot, and this of course is going to have a big effect in the race. And what do you expect when we take this session on at 1 p.m. in the middle of May?
I honestly don't know. There's a lot to not to expect. I mean, Callaway's looking pretty strong. He's got some fan club out there at 2 as well, and he's got that half a second now margin over the rest of the field. So they are starting to slowly chip into his quick lap time of 1:23.48. Is there really going to be enough time at the end of the day to see if they can get that? Elliot Rolls is going pretty quickly at the moment through the middle sector, but let's see. It looked like he was sounding very slow for a second, but you do have to go slow through the stadium section. I haven't even got the pictures on the TV screen at the moment. Still got the test pattern.
There goes Rolls over the line. Does he go any faster? Doesn't look like it with that fast middle sector, but no better than the rest everywhere else, it looks like. So who else is going to improve? Elliot can't go any faster either. That's 7/10 slower than Callaway. Only a minute and a half left in this session as well, so shouldn't be too long until this first session of the day is over. Unfortunately, Carlos Balanas and Norman King haven't set out in qualifying either. Hopefully those two do race, and especially Balanas as well, because it would be nice to have a home race for him in this circuit. But if he doesn't qualify, indeed doesn't start the grid for race 1, then unfortunately we'll have our answer there. There goes Fitzsimmons. Sanchez goes a bit quicker, but he's immediately pushed down by Fitzsimmons, who moves to 3rd, and Mundy, who moves to 4th as well. It's British drivers in 2nd, 3rd and 4th, but all behind Jaden Callaway, who's going faster again.
Let's see how you get it done here. Look at this. He's only got this 3rd sector. He's got purple first, purple 2nd sector now. Just has to nail this one perfectly. Don't go off too much there. Wave to your fans out here, because you certainly got one out there in the YouTube world. As this going to be a pretty blistering lap here at the moment. I wonder if he can crack the 22s. Now
getting to the 23s. Oh, goodness me, 23.2. That is miles ahead of the rest of the field. Absolutely miles ahead of the rest with that lap time there. Only Elliot Court also in the 23s. Sergio Duhair's quite towards the end of the lap. Notty Amel as well from 6th position. I think he's just about going to get there in time, although he's only got one personal best. Elliot Court goes for a personal best as well. It's only a quarter of a second off of Callaway, but Callaway has dominated this session in terms of who's been leading throughout. And over the line for Amel, he's, oh dear, smashing himself up pretty badly, and he doesn't go any quicker, so he will start from 6th.
Yeah, that's it anyway. So it didn't really matter, but they've got to be frantically working. There it is. Says their crews are going to be picking that car up and taking it back to pit road. But that's the beauty of the virtual world, of course. There, Ewan. And there's an interesting there from JT out there. Yeah, the push to pass the OT will be interesting at this altitude, since it's going to be way more effective with less dense air. Very interesting. We're going to find that out very soon. First of all, let's go over our grid.
Yep, let's see who's where on the start of this race. It'll be Jane Callaway in front of Elliot Court on the front row, with Benny Fitzsimmons and Elliot Rolls on row 2. Jack Mundy rounds out 4 British drivers in the top 5, by the way. Noddy Amel in 6th. Fabian Sanchez and Sergio Duhair on row 4, ahead of Nicholas Isjo and Gareth Pacalster, who's inside the top 10. James Turnbull and Jax Meyer on row 6, the first All-American row in number 6 there. Xavier Senev and Robert Nobles are on row 7, ahead of Arturo Mayorga and Ricardo Espino, with Carlos Balanas and Norman King both not setting times. Indeed, hopefully they do start for this Salsa Verde Grand Prix of Mexico, presented by Inca Salsa. It's going to be a fun night, that's for sure. We saw a few mistakes in qualifying. Well, they're about to race, first of all, for just a few laps, just 9 laps in this opening race of the day, followed by 28 a little bit later on. It's a short start race to begin with, and one that Callaway will hope to win from the front, given his pace.
Yeah, you've got to get to all that important, well, that long stretch, isn't it? That very, very long run. It's one of the longest ones in the Formula 1 calendar, isn't it? That'll be interesting to see that when they're going to use that push to pass to defend, obviously, and to attack as much as possible. I don't know, OT push to pass here. I mean, JT out there's highlighted both of them for us. And that's going to be interesting, as mentioned, about what's going to happen in this less dense air.
Yeah, it will be very interesting indeed. Don't get to see this in iRacing often. So much so I didn't actually realise it was simulated at all, but it certainly is, and it will make things very interesting. But let's wait and see. 9 laps for this first race of the day, and here we go. Well, that's about to come on for the first time here in Mexico in the League Zero Super Formula Championship. We are ready to go, and Jaden Callaway off the front. A very good start meantime from Fitzsimmons, who immediately, and he's going straight through the middle here with 4 wide for the lead already, as Fitzsimmons has a rocket of a start. He goes into the lead. At the moment, though, it's Callaway who's going backwards. The front 6 are all at 7 indeed, on top of each other. A bit of contact towards turn 1. They get through nicely, though, with Fitzsimmons in the lead. What a start. Callaway's in second, Mundy then in third. Callaway will want to get that place back immediately. Fitzsimmons will not be able to believe his luck.
That's absolutely amazing, isn't it? He's got a bit of work to do. Bit of a shuffling going on at the moment there as well too, but that's the situation. So Fitzsimmons up 2. Jack Monday as well too. He got a fantastic launch, so he's in that 3rd position there. As Elliot Court dropped back a couple of places.
Yeah, absolutely. It's not a good start for the championship leader, but it's not a bad one either, I suppose, still being in 4th place. Look at this in terms of how close Callaway is. Don't want to be too close through here. Dirty air will still be a factor at the S's, although less so, of course, than normal. It's still something to think about. Down towards turn 12, lurking is Callaway at the moment, certainly lurking. And on the exit of lap 1, he's going to be having a go into turn 1, surely. Fitzsimmons has not got anywhere near enough of a gap. We'll see, though, what he does with the push to pass. We know that Callaway doesn't really use it very early on.
Using it, but now I'm sure Callaway, it looked like he's using it for a second. It's so hard to see, obviously, in the bright sunshine conditions that we have here at the moment, but I don't think so there, Ewan. Oh, there's a flash at the front.
Saves it all for the end.
Waving in the background as well too. Elliot Court, trying to get into the slipstream, but Jack covers him off this time around.
And he's gone very deep, and this is the thing I was talking about earlier with the exit off of 3 being so important. Quite hard to see when you're against someone you can't see, but trying to get the exit off of there is so important, and Court's going to use that now to pull to the outside. He pulled to the outside early, so much so I thought he was going to go back to the inside, but if you can hold it here, you get the inside for 5, and he can't quite do it. Monday goes wide, though, and he's going to keep the place. A little bit of tarmac saving him on the left-hand side there. Should be a bit of grass there, really. It's not dangerous, but just allows them to run off the circuit and keep the place like that, and that's exactly what happened there. Robert from the Mustard Seed Racing entrance gets past Ricardo Espinal, who is up 3 places as well too for the Mexican in his home race. Chase Myers also battling it out there with Sajay a little bit further back there. Noddy was getting there really close to Sanchez, but at the moment Fitzsimmons still managing to hold off Callaway in the lead of this race, lap 2. About to be lap 3. And he's got a bigger gap now as well. He's got a much bigger gap as Fitzsimmons. Yeah. Oh no! Bodywork as well. McAllister, who started in the top 10s, involved, and so is Espino, who had made such a good start. He was starting to be around Gareth McAllister, which was, in the end, not good news. See what happened to McAllister. He's diving down the... Did Espino spin first, or did McAllister go into him before then? I'm not entirely sure. It looked like Espino went for a spin on his own first, actually. But McAllister then just got involved. Either way, those two are both going to have damage, and they have to come down pit lane as well. They both make it back out again by the looks of things, at the very least, but unsurprisingly, they drop to the back of the field.
Jack got to slow down in the background there. That's the reason why you're going to see him just drop off a couple of those places that he had there at the moment. So that's very interesting. Noddy's going to be putting pressure on him currently at the moment.
Yeah, he's not made any places yet as Noddy ML, but he's right in there in the group for 3rd place. 4.5 seconds already off the 2 leaders. Fitzsimmons somehow is finding some speed here. He didn't have in qualifying, and now with a big slide there coming off of turn 11, saves it just in time, and he's going to put the pressure on to Mundy in towards turn 1. You'd imagine late on the brakes from Jack Mundy, and he seems under big pressure now. It was caught earlier. Emil's not entirely sure where he's going to go here, but He's surely going to get him on the way towards turn 1. Jack Mundy is all over the place at the moment as he comes out the final corner. Mel's not going to get him because that was a big slide for him as well. Callaway meantime sets the fastest lap of the race, and he's roaring up to the back of Fitzsimmons, and he's using a bit of push to pass there. At least he didn't towards turn 1. Fitzsimmons used a bit to defend with as well. He's not going to use it on the way towards 4, but Callaway using it early to try and make this position, and it was unsuccessful this time round.
That's to show you, it's not the easiest to overtake, obviously, here that we're seeing currently at the moment. Even with that push to pass being used, it looks like also Ricardo Espino has had a moment as well too for the Inca Salsa Racing entrant. He has retired this car, and also Robert Nobles as well. So early retirement.
Was Turnbull involved as well, because he's got a meatball next to his name. I wonder whether he's involved in any of the things that have gone on down on pit lane at the moment or not. But yes, it's a meatball for Turnbull as they now run in towards the stadium section again. Look at the lead that Fitzsimmons and Callaway have got. I wonder where Fitzsimmons why he didn't have this in qualifying. He was nowhere near Callaway really, but a good start, and he's keeping pace with him.
Yeah, but he's going to have to be under another attack as Callaway set the fastest lap before. Let's see if he can set the fastest lap this time around again, and he does, but it's not getting him the position one that he wants. That's the thing. You have all the fastest laps at the end of the day, but it's about getting the overtake, and you have to give it to Fitzsimmons at the moment for the Mustard Seed Racing entrance. He is defending for the life of him, but a little bit of a mistake like that is going to put him under massive pressure, but he's very, very lucky to have to say that there's really nowhere Callaway could go to get past him that time around.
Well, he's going to be under big pressure this time though, Fitzsimmons, because that wasn't the line through 1, 2 and 3, and as I mentioned earlier, it matters so much for the run down here. He looks to the outside, just Callaway, but he can't do it there. Again, he's on the wrong line. It's another switchback, which he can do all the way to turn 6, but finally he'll get on the same line here, and there will be no way through again as we cross half distance in this race. Emel and Mundy are still going at each other, and here comes Zuhair, is it, coming through? No, it's Elliot Rolls, sorry, who comes through on Emel and demotes him for the first time tonight. There's a big attack from Callaway as well. Look at the racing that this circuit is providing at the moment. It's absolutely everywhere, and Fitzsimmons is finally coming unstruck by this. He's using a bit of push to pass towards turn 12, which is pretty highly unusual. In towards the corner they go. Fitzsimmons keeps the button on. He wants to use it down the whole front straight as well. There's contact. They bobble over the curbs, and there's a bit of contact with Fitzsimmons losing his front wing briefly. And more over the curves for Callaway this time. Fitzsimmons wins the place back. He's still on the push to pass button, and I wonder whether Callaway's going to respond by using it as well in the run down the front straight here or not as they complete another lap. There's going to be just 4 to go at the end of this one. This group's just as wild, down from 5th place on backwards. Sanchez gets away clearly, but Callaway will look to respond on the way towards turn 1 with Fitzsimmons out front at the moment. Not at the moment though. Fitzsimmons is able to keep the lead and has to recharge the push to pass. That was absolutely fantastic between the two of them. Here comes Elliot Rolls meantime, Fitzsimmons' teammate on Monday, who's still defending and still keeping his top 5 place. He's been hit now though. He's been hit into turn 2. He thought he was clear. Rolls is alongside now. He's got big damage as well. It's all happening down here for 5th. Nadia Mel moves forward into the top 5, and Elliot Rolls has to retire.
More damage as well too for these drivers. I think you'd have to go up the front as well too and say they probably have damage on both the cars. You saw a bit of carbon fibre flying off. There's no front wing currently at the moment there for Sajay's car, so that's the battle that was brewing in the mid-pack that now has to settle itself down because of damaged cars of Elliot Rolls and so forth. But these two are still at it. Once again, we're not sure how much damage they both got. They did come together, that's for sure, and they're still going to continue to fight here with Fitzsimmons managed just to hold off there. A very fast, feisty, and American.
It looked very much like Fitzsimmons did have damage, didn't it? But in the end, it turned out to be a bit of netcode, I think. Fitzsimmons isn't going to be able to use it until the run towards turn 4. So if I was instructing Callaway, I'd say go for it now, because Fitzsimmons hasn't got the chance to at the moment. And there's 3 minutes of push to pass only remaining, and 3 laps remaining as well. So he's going to have to be pretty careful with it. Callaway's going to go straight through here. Push to pass so crucial, and he was close enough to get Fitzsimmons as well. Although Fitzsimmons is late on the brakes on the outside. Oh, what a spectacular move that is! He's on the inside for 2. He'll get the outside for 3 though. He cuts him nicely, and Callaway has to give it up. That's so close. They make contact again. Callaway's going to get the exit, and Fitzsimmons will try and respond. Is he getting back on the button now, because it will be available? He is down towards turn 4. He can finally respond. Here he comes inside. And he cuts him off. Fitzsimmons again defending really well. Callaway's clearly quicker, but he just can't find his way through yet.
This is absolutely brilliant. This is obviously this is proven that this track is going to be exciting. It's fun to watch. We've seen it between these two. You got to give it. Fitzsimmons does not want to give this up whatsoever. Just looks like Callaway's going to get the OT done. No, Fitzsimmons manages to find some way on the track to keep his car ahead.
What a great advert for this circuit this first race has been, by the way. 2 laps remaining. These two are going to have to be very careful with the way that they use the push to pass in the next few moments. Certainly in the case of Fitzsimmons, who's going to be on a cool-down period until after turn 4, which is not ideal. He'll have to start... Oh, no, he's still on it, sorry. He hasn't taken it off yet. So he could have done with going out without going wide there through the stadium section. And then he could have made better use of it. But Callaway's still on a cool-down period. Callaway with still more than 2 minutes remaining, pretty much as he is allowed to on the way towards turn 4. I think he's going to put it on here and leave it on for the rest of the race, of which there's less than 3 minutes to go, by the way. So you will start to see that now across the board. People putting push to pass on for the very last time in this race. Fitzsimmons is just going to use it until it runs out, because if he takes it off now, he'll be in a cool-down period for the rest of the race, and that's not much use to anybody. So he's going to carry on, but surely it won't be for much longer.
I guess all this fighting has brought this man into play, who has his push-to-pass button on right now. Elliott Court set the fastest first sector as well, too, a little earlier. So he's saying, okay, this is fun. Penultimate lap of this race. Let's see if I can get in that little mistake. Actually, it's going to drop him back just outside of that 1 second mark. He was getting up there for a second, but it'll be an interesting driver to look out for in this feature race coming up after this.
Yeah, I think, he's timed to push past quite well as well. He's got it on till the end. What about Callaway? He needs to put it on. Oh, and Fitzsimmons is in the final 20 seconds. That is not good news at all. He's got the red light above his head now. He is in the final 20 seconds, and he has not timed this quite as well as he could have done. He's 7-8 tenths ahead of Callaway, though. Is that enough of a margin for him to hold on to? What a fascinating situation. This is what happens, you see, with Callaway when you use your push to pass a little bit earlier. You force the driver in front of you to use it to try and defend from you, and you can create a situation like this where you've got it on right to the end of the race, but your rival hasn't. And that's what we're seeing here. He's not going to get it into turn 1 because Fitzsimmons has created a gap during his push to pass period, but it's over now and Callaway can close in towards 4. Is the straight going to be long enough? Has Fitzsimmons made an error? No on the second part. Is he close enough? Looks like no as well. He's going to have to do it somewhere else at the moment, but he will have the push to pass even through the middle sector, which does help a little bit and might help on the run towards turn 12, which is where this move's going to have to happen now if Callaway's going to get this race win.
He's going to have to be. He's got the advantage. He has the tools at his disposal. Fitzsimmons has been a mighty fine defender in this race so far, and he's got nothing left but pure driving skill to try to do it. Look at the exit speed right now of that push to pass, but nowhere to go for the sweeping left and right. As you'd mentioned there, Ewan, where can he get the OT done now?
Oh, he's going to have to do it. It's 12 and it's a good exit off of 11. Look at the speed he's got compared to Fitzsimmons. He tries to urge him over towards the edge of the circuit. Round the outside. Oh, and he's off. He's off the circuit. Callaway with a response there. Fitzsimmons down the inside again. Now that's going to be argued about. Oh, he's going to hold on, is Callaway. He holds on round the outside. Fitzsimmons goes for a cutback line on the way to the line. Callaway's just going to have to get the power down here, and he's going to win the race. But is Fitzsimmons going to argue the toss about the overtake as he spins across the line? Yeah. Jaden Callaway's the winner on the road, but TT overtake off the circuit, creating that steward's investigation maybe a bit later on. That will be argued about from Fitzsimmons, surely.
Oh, it was either way, however it's going to pan out, it was super fun to watch, that's for sure. You must admit that was incredible stuff from JT out there in the chat as well too. The rest of the drivers, there was some fantastic battles happening with them, unfortunately, because we had only one camera at one place. Look at this, Sajay's just going to bring this one home without a front nose. Anyway, and still inside that top 10. So you can't argue with that. That'll actually put him on the pole, won't it, for the reverse grid. And there is Arturo, Robert, and McAllister once again bringing it home here for the Inca Salsa Chips entry. And then the rest of the drivers, unfortunately, had to get down there into pit road and get those on the damage clock.
Sanov, by the way, had a disconnection. That's why he's completely disappeared. So it's unfortunate for him that he disappeared in that way. We might get to see a little bit of these replays, but I'm pretty sure the session's going to move on very abruptly in a moment. But there's Rolls. There you go. I wish it wouldn't do that.
I know.
But anyway, there's not much we can do about that, unfortunately. And so the warm-up session commences. But that's the race result. Jaden Callaway, Finley Fitzsimmons, 2 tenths apart. Elliot Court, indeed. Third place, 1.3 back. Fabian Sanchez and Nordia Mail round out the top 5. Nicholas Isidro, first driver to miss out on the reverse grid. Jace Meyer, Jack Mundy, Sergio Zahere and Otto Miorga rounding out the top 10. Robert Nobles, Gareth McAllister on the lead lap. Senev dropped out on the last lap at halfway round. Elliot Rolls retired with Carlos Balinas. James Turnbull retired with Carlos Espino. Norman King didn't take the start, so he's down at the back and will be in race 2 as well. What did you make of that pass, by the way, between Callaway and Fitzsimmons? I'll be honest, it's obviously hard to see, but I thought, to be honest, that Callaway made the pass off the circuit and therefore might be declared null and void later.
It did look like that, didn't it? It'd be interesting to go back and obviously look at the replays, which we can't unfortunately do, but I'm sure that some of those drivers are probably doing that at the moment because I don't see anybody out on the track. Maybe we do have one driver that is out just getting a little bit of practice session in, but it's one that you might want to study the tape on a little bit more there, Ewan. Yeah. I think you probably noticed it a little bit more than me because I'm sometimes a little bit distracted clicking the buttons, but what a crack over
I've just gone, while you were talking there, just gone and had a look back on, I've just rewinded the live stream, which is the best way we're going to be able to see a replay before live. To be honest, I think Callaway will argue, and I think actually having seen it again quite rightly, actually, that yes, he did go off the circuit, and yes, it did actually look like he was always intending to. But actually, if he'd have stayed within the track boundaries there, he and Fitzsimmons would have come into contact, because the way that the place that Fitzsimmons' car is placed, it's not entirely where you would place your car, say, like here for Mayorga into turn 12. But his left-hand side tyres are so close to the white line, there's no way you could fit another car alongside reasonably. And so I think Callaway can argue quite rightly, actually, that he was forced there by Fitzsimmons, who didn't give him the room necessary on the outside to make that move work, and so quite rightly will keep that place probably. But let's wait and see. I mean, there just isn't a lot you can do if the driver on your inside doesn't give you the space. There's not a lot you can do there, but go off into the side of the circuit.
Yeah. But do you also think that as Fitzsimmons had used all his overtake in the dying stages of that race, if he had a little bit more left, he probably wouldn't have had Callaway so close to him. So that's definitely another little thing. So that's something he's going to probably take into consideration, talk to the team, the engineers, and say, look, all right, let's see if we can time this a little better in our feature race coming up. That'll be probably something that'll be going through his mind. Then no way he wouldn't have had so much of a difficulty. He defended practically Callaway the whole race, didn't he, at that point? And it took everything out of Callaway to finally get that pass done. And of course it was a bit argy-bargy to get it done too, but it's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, I think, the speed difference between the two on the way towards turn 12 there was unbelievable, and yeah, part of that was indeed down to the push to pass situation, but I think that was just a good advert for Callaway in the future, maybe using that push to pass a little bit earlier in the races, because so far this season he's been, especially in the sprint race, maybe a little bit less so in the feature race, but still to an extent, he's just been waiting till the end of the race, and everybody's got a bit of push to pass towards the end of the race. It doesn't matter whether you can use it for the whole last 2 laps in a row. You've got to use it earlier and try and sort of use it when the driver in front isn't. That's when you get the real difference, not necessarily at the end of the race. So, I think this is a good development for him, and indeed to take the race win there as well. Very impressive. There you can see that'll be a second race win now, Jaden Callaway, and he will gain on Elliot Court, who had a bit of a quiet race, I must say. I think he finished in the top 5 though at the end of that one. I'll just double check. Third place. He was catching them, of course, quite late on, so he will start from third place again, with Callaway starting from 5th here, but a few extra and good points to gain there for Callaway as he continues to try and chase down Elliot Court, who's got off to a flying start this season.
Absolutely, and unfortunately there's one name that you can see there. Gonzalo Perez is not racing tonight. It'll be unfortunate because it's interesting to see how he would have handled this relatively new track as well and bring it to the top guns that were there. But we do see, obviously, Noddy here, Elliot Rolls is here, JT's not. Unfortunately, Sanchez is, Merchant's not, and a few of the other drivers play, and she's not as well too. So, but that's it for our little practice session. That some of the drivers elected to go out there and do a couple of laps on their belt. Now it's going to be time for the main show.
Yeah, surprised a little bit that Fitzsimmons did, but there you go. He's going to be starting up towards the front here, although, of course, a little bit further than where he finished this first race. It's Noddy Amel who will start the second race from pole ahead of Fabian Sanchez. Elliot Court, who starts where he finished. Fitty Fitzsimmons and Jaden Callaway, your top 5. The rest of the field is exactly the same as what it was at the end of race 1. So we'll let that scroll through on your screen as the front guys get themselves ready for this race with Noddy Amel at the front. We will wait and see whether Callaway can come through and win a second race in one evening. So far, only seen JT Smitten take 2 victories in one night, and in fact he was the only double winner before tonight. We had 4 different winners in 6 races, or 5, it was 5 different winners, sorry, in 6 races. Had a Merchant, Noddy Amel, Jaden Callaway and Elliot Court being the other ones, but Callaway now joins the 2-win club in this rather exclusive 2-win club in this series this season. Let's see if anybody else can over the next 28 laps as the next race here from Mexico gets underway. It's a bit of a slow start, a couple of slow starts in fact in the background, and less of a flyer here from Fitzsimmons this time, who loses his place to Callaway. Initially it's 3 wide for the lead already. They're all on the push to pass because they know how crucial this first part of the race is. Noddy Amel stays to the inside. Oh, and he's going to be in trouble here as Fitzsimmons dives down the inside, and Callaway's on each side of him at the moment. 3 wide, they're surely not going to get through that, and they don't! Oh, Fitzsimmons and Sanchez make contact through turn 3. Callaway only just avoids, the only other driver in that 3 wide to avoid it, as Elliot Court tries to take advantage and take the lead outside of Noddy Amel. He's going to have the inside in time for turn 5, and he might well get the place here as well. Oh, he's shoved out wide a little bit, is Noddy Amel, but he's going to go through as Elliot Court. Callaway's going to try and follow. He wants to make up 3 places in just 1 lap here and chase for the race lead. He can't use his push to pass though, neither can Amel. Round the outside for Callaway is not going to manage it, but Elliot Court leads, and 2 of the big contenders are taken out through the first chicane.
Make that 3. Make that 3. Yeah. Contact with Noddy. Noddy's in a dangerous place as well. He's going to move off the racing line. Wow. Just like that. And Callaway now. Nicholas is in the play here. Elliot Court's going to be a bit of a breather at the moment. You can see the huge slowdowns from Callaway, Jack, Jace.
Goodness me. Here's a draw up to second.
Yeah, is it just too
Monday
to be risking it for a biscuit like that, mate?
I'm not sure, especially in Callaway's situation, what he was doing there, hitting at the back of Noddy Amel, who was dropped to 13th part of the way, and he's going to be fun to watch come back through the field. Xavier Seneva's managed to get connected back to the server again, which is good. Hopefully his disconnection problems are behind him as Amel gets straight through into 12th position. McAllister gets another meatball flag, by the way. That's the second in 2 races. Sazi Zuhair, unfortunately, also got one, and he's out on lap 1. Mundy is off now through turn 1. Goodness me. Well, Jack Mundy has not had a particularly great day, despite showing some good speed. The results aren't going to show for it, and there's another spin down at turn 1.
Callaway's going to help mount another attack at the moment, just this time around with a different opponent, because Noddy's not there. He is in the race still, back in P11. Not sure how much damage was on the number 99 machine, but let's see how this is going to pan out again. It's like a boxing ring, isn't it? Whoa, there's a snap, Nicholas. Almost as well too. You have to say Callaway, he will take that position, but geez, he had to react to the lightning reflexes.
He certainly did, and we'll now try and get past Elliot Court to gain even more points. If he could win back-to-back here, then he'll gain even more on Elliot Court in this race today. Just as it calms down, we'll have a look at some of the incidents through the opening laps here. Sanchez and Fitzsimmons are still in the pit lane, although still in the server. At least it's not calming down. Mayorga goes for a spin now from 6th position as he was at the time, right in front of the fans in the stadium section who will be enjoying their afternoon. Mayorga drops down to 13th position as Noddy Amel's position gain so far goes up to 3, at least since his spin, I should add. He's now about to make that 4 as he gets onto the back of Carlos Balanas, finding this quite difficult. There's not much slipstream up here as he comes down towards turn number 1. He's going to have a look down the inside, and he is going to go through, but took him a while. Finally though, He heads down the inside and moves up into ninth position.
Bit disappointed with all the Mexicans in the grandstands as well too, after seeing their driver unfortunately fall down to P10, still up 5 from where it started this race. Let's go back quickly and have a look at the incident there with Fitzsimmons.
So he ends up quite deep here, and Callaway quite smartly goes for the cutback, but it gives him 3 wide, and Sanchez in the light blue is on the outside. Oh, Sanchez hits him, doesn't he?
Squeezed.
But, hard to say whether there just wasn't any space there or whether that was a misjudgment from Sanchez, because he did go straight into Fitzsimmons and takes them both off the side of the circuit there.
There. Halo too. Back to live pictures. We've got some action between Elliot Rolls getting past Jason Meyer. Maybe not just yet. Here we go. Off into the escape road.
Well, that's what happens when you put tarmac everywhere.
And they'll give him slow
Jason
down.
Meyer allowed to cut the corner and keep the place. He probably could have stayed on the circuit, to be honest. But just cut straight across the chicane and keeps 4th ahead of Elliot Rolls.
He's not. He's fighting his way back up to the field here. On James Turnbull. Right there, you can
He's
see.
having a good run.
Yeah, Ricardo going for it as well too with Robert. As the sun's out.
Oh, bounced.
Wheel.
Oh, and Amel's going to get the both. Look at this.
He
What a
will.
great bit of driving that is from Noddy Amel. He has done this before. He goes from 8th place to 6th, in fact 9th place to 6th in just a few moments, and leaves the guys behind just scrambling. Look at this, a big move down the inside. Nobel's got to be careful. That is Espino who dives down the inside so aggressively. Nobles then doesn't give him much room. Oh, and there's a rear wing taken off in the background as well, only briefly. That's Balinas with Mundy who make contact through turn 5.
And that's what happens. 4 into 1 ain't going to work really around here, is it, my friend? On lap 4:28 with 25 to go. Still fighting. This Mexican up 9 places now. You have to give it to Ricardo. He's given everything he possibly can. He's got to try to defend off James here, put some pressure on behind. We're going to see more repeat of this nice wheel-to-wheel action that you're seeing here in Mexico.
Fantastic stuff back in the midfield, and looks like there's going to be a battle for the lead at some point as well. Callaway is catching Elliot Court. I don't know if you can score back far enough or whether it's too far away now with 5 laps gone. If you can see the incident between Callaway and Amel, because we were riding on board at the time, but it's quite interesting to find out sort of what really happened there.
Yeah.
With the two of them seemingly running completely different speeds, although it was all on the opening lap, of course, so it was rather strange between the two. In the meantime, Nobles and Espino go side by side, and Espino keeps 7th place. 8th rather. Right, the other way around, sorry. Nobles keeps 7th ahead of Espino, I should say, with James Turnbull just in behind. So this is that one. I'm just trying to understand how Callaway hit him with such a speed difference. I suppose they're on different lines, aren't they? And Callaway's going for it. So I think what he's doing is he's trying to go fast at turn 9 to jam it down the inside at 10, which seems a bit strange, but I don't really see any other reason why he would go straight into the back of ML like that. It was really strange for two drivers on what should be similar speed to be at such a clashing point there.
Yeah. They should have been both on the loud pedal before the braking point, but yeah, that's the situation, unfortunately.
Very unusual. Oh dear,
rear wing
what has gone on while we weren't looking to Nicholas Iserdroke, who's completely missing his rear wing, and he's let that group of Nobles, Espino and Turnbull all pass him. He's on his own.
Yeah. Oh, and looks like we've had another incident at the time. There it is. And then we've had another one with Nobles now. He's missing a front wing, heading into pit road.
Oh dear, oh dear.
We're going to be living on replays at the moment because of all this action that's happening. This happened straight after. So let's have a look. If Robert's done anything on it, he's all by himself at the moment. You know, imagine it's just it's already spun, is it, into the corner there. That's where the front wing's been lost.
That's irritating, I think is the word.
Yeah, and you called it. Callaway now hot on the heels of Elliot Court.
Last time round, fastest lap of the race, 4 tenths quicker than Court, who's current championship leader, but will have taken a slight dent with that sprint race, and it would take a bigger dent if he can go back-to-back here at Jaden Callaway. Be well less than 30 points, might even be around 20 at the end of the first 4 rounds of this championship, heading into our first one-race evening, by the way, at Imola, round number 5. It's the It's Not My Birthday Grand Prix by Gareth McAllister. I wonder if it actually is or not. Is he double bluffing? Is it his birthday? We'll find out in a week's time. And he gets to drive around Imola for 35 laps in that race in a week's time. So we look forward to that. There's another fastest lap of the race from Jaden Callaway. He will now try and close in on Elliot Courtland towards turn number 1 again. Try and get past him rather. Not able to do it. And Callaway, not on the push to pass, I would imagine, is going to remain off the push to pass for quite some time unless he gets really stuck here.
Now has Noddy Mel's 12 seconds away from this battle down the road, setting the fastest lap at 23.51 on that last lap alone. He's shaved a second at least out of these drivers up the front, and at least a couple of seconds out of some of the drivers around the midfield. So keep an eye out for Noddy. Absolutely flying right now. Can he change his strategy up somewhere along the line here and get a jump on these two?
It'll be interesting to see. I mean, I personally think that, Court and Callaway are so far in front already that this is going to remain the front two for the remainder of this race. And might not be a front two for very long. Might be a Callaway versus versus everybody else. He might be well on his own pretty soon here, Jaden Callaway. But let's wait and see whether that's got any truth to it or not. As they come through the stadium section now and out the other side into the front straight. Such a difficult traction zone this, by the way, in the Super Formula, as the track temperature is so high, although it's cooled 15 degrees Celsius from what it was in qualifying. Even though it's only an hour later than that, it's a lot better conditions. Court feeling the need to use push to pass to defend now on the way towards turn number 1. So that's why Callaway will be finding this quite difficult at the moment to actually make a pass. But I wonder whether he realises that Court is using it, and whether he realises that now is a good opportunity actually with bad run out of turn 4. Court not able to use push to pass. Callaway might not even need it. He might do it the old-fashioned way here. He looks to the outside line. He's going to go for the switchback. This is the last chicane on the lap where he can do it before you get to the middle sector, and he has a look down turn 4, or turn 6 rather. He can't do it. Maybe there will be a chance to cut back actually as Court goes defensive. No, they won't. And he has to spend another lap through the middle sector behind him.
Meanwhile, all this is allowing these other drivers that are slowly. You see Rolls, he's got it down under 10 seconds now behind Callaway. And Noddy Mel's catching in pretty quickly as well too, with about a second and change. So that'll be another battle going very soon. I think Callaway is probably going to be aware of these other drivers down the road too, and saying, well, I feel like I'm a lot faster at the moment than Elliot Court. I need to get up the road there and get as much distance as I possibly can from the rest of the field, as he's very capable of doing. But just saying, you just noticed that Callaway's just not had the opportunity to just be at the front of these races and run away with it, even though he did put it on pole. Just the race starts have not been panning out for him as ideally as he'd like.
This is a big run for Callaway. Look at him using the push to pass smartly here. He's taking it off actually quite early, clearly preserving the seconds, but he wants to use as little as possible, passing Elliot Court for the lead. Round the outside he goes through the first part, inside the second. Court's not on a very good line though, and he's going to race round through turn 3. He will get the race lead. Court with no chance to respond unless it's just recharged now, and he's got no, it's still on the cool down. There you can see it. Now he's got it back again, halfway down this straight, but he doesn't choose to respond. Callaway's got the lead, and I wonder whether that is it now for this race win. Has Callaway made that race-winning pass now?
We'll see if he can continue and get those now and clear now. I'll be interested to see if he can start matching those lap times that Noddy was doing. Noddy's doing the low 23s, 23.5 last lap. 23.8 last lap. Up the front now, they were 24s battling. So, but of course, Noddy's going to be a little slower on these laps now. Maybe he's using some of that push to pass because he's trying to catch up to Elliot Rolls running a P3 just on these pitches up the road there. You can see.
Well, that gap going very large at the front, but Noddy Mel is a man on the charge, and I wonder whether his trip back to the podium is settled here. Nicholas Isidro, that is, who's slow. He's in 11th place. Continuing on, so far the last driver is still continuing on, although it's not clear that McAllister, Sanchez or Fitzsimmons have yet retired. That's why they're still on your tower on the left hand side. All the others have indeed left now. There's no fast repairs in this series, means that you have to do it the long way, and indeed if your repair time's about half an hour, then well, that'll be the end of the race anyway by then. So unfortunately we do see early retirements, and while Fitzsimmons doesn't have a ball, he might have a lot of optionals which are holding him back at the moment. Didn't see how Zuhair got retired actually, so this would be good to see down towards turn number 4. Got one of the drivers along. Oh dear, rammed there by somebody as he slowed down to avoid an accident in front of him. he got round into the back of, and that was that for him.
And this is back on lap 2 in the early instance. Wait, all these drivers are in. Well, this is that spin that we saw actually. Yeah. So this is the closest battle you see on your pictures once again. Now I'm just trying to see the clean air once we get a lap under it. What Callaway is able to do. So 1.2 second gap over Elliott Court. If he's going to start getting down into those 23 times again, what he'd like to cover it off. Still maintaining that 10-second gap, give or take, over about 12-second gap over Elliott Rolls.
We'll see whether these gaps are going to hold for the next half of the race, effectively, as Elliott Rolls sets the fastest lap of the race there, particularly being phased by Noddy ML at the moment, and his presence just under 2 seconds behind. Unfortunately for Elliott Court, it looks like he is a bit far away from Jaden Callaway at the moment to really be a factor, as Jack Mundy, the latest to get a meatball flag, he now drops to 11th after towing back to pit lane.
Yeah, let's oh! Ho, ho, ho.
Wow.
Couldn't even get back to the very start of what happened to that. I don't like to replay much. But you know, we're gonna have to do that. It's just at the exit, isn't it? Just too much power down. Gets slippery there, bang, and of course there's no runoff area. It's just a big concrete wall, completely smashed up his car.
It is indeed. And that might work. Yeah, indeed, he has left now. So that is that for Mundy as well. Just 10 remain in this race here tonight, and it is Jaden Callaway who leads by a second and a half. Elliott Rolls and Noddy Mel, one of the closer battles on the circuit, although Rolls seems to have him firmly in the rearview mirror at the moment as well, with personal best coming in all the time. Don't forget, of course, you can't refuel in these super formulas, so they do get lighter as you go along, and generally you do get faster. And I wonder if Rolls has set personal best there as well. No, not quite, but that's still a very good lap time. 23.8 is not quite as fast, but of course he has set the fastest lap of the race so far in this one. That time round was 600ths of a second quicker than him. It's going to take him a while to catch at that rate, though.
Yes, it will. What about pit stops of these drivers? Well, we've had Ricardo come in on lap 7 for his pit stop. So the local Mexican here, number 90, for the Inca Salsa Racing team. He's, well, we'll see how it pans out a little bit later on, but when the rest of the field are up above him, from P1 to P8, yet to come down to pit road. When would you expect
a little bit
might come down?
Sorry?
When would you expect that some of these drivers might come down to pit road?
Yeah, I think they'll try and split it half and half with this race, to be honest. I mean, the fact that the temperatures have cooled down so much probably helps, but I think they might well try and split it half and half if they can. 14 laps 14 as Callaway completes lap 12 there with a personal best. I mean, you know, the tyres clearly aren't going off that much, because the fuel load getting lighter is actually benefiting them more than the tyre wear is disadvantaging them, if that makes sense. So it's getting faster and faster. Normally at this stage you do see a bit of drop off, but so maybe they will go a bit further. And in terms of the corners themselves, they're not that strenuous on the tyres, but it's just that the temperatures, although those temperatures have massively gone away, as you just saw there. 34 degrees is so much nicer on the tyres than what we saw before.
So right on board here for a little bit of Callaway, so you can see it's at the fastest lap of 23.10 on the last one. He's chucking this machine around currently at the moment. Getting well, this is also probably a lot more practice laps that these drivers are doing too. They've just recently acquired this track in their iRacing database, let's say, that they have. Well, not sure how much practice that they put in, but obviously racing is practice as well. So we'll see. See if this is going to be a quicker lap there, Ewan. It's even capable of getting into 22s tonight. And there it is.
Does look like
22.8.
we're heading there. There we go. 22.8. Very, very quick indeed from Callaway. And don't forget, that's not with push to pass as far as we could see there. There was no push to pass used, so clearly just that quick. And, 2.2 seconds quicker than Elliot Court, who saw the gap double there. Only Amel close slightly to Rolls, but that gap's still just over a second. This is an absolute clinic that Jaden Callaway is putting on at the moment, and if he can continue on this form, then, well, there's still another 7 rounds to go after this one, and that means he'll be, for the course of 8 weeks, of course, as we miss out Thanksgiving, but 7 rounds to go after this one. He is going to be an absolute force to be reckoned with at the end of this season, if he carries on in this kind of form anyway.
Well, there is your schedule, of course, coming up, and it looks like we've still got some sponsors available on some of those tracks. If I'm not mistaken.
Well, you say that, and that's an older version, by the way, of the calendar. We'll get the new one up for next week, but just announced today, or was it earlier? Let me check. Sorry, last week, just at the after last week's race, actually, we had the announcement through from Antonio Bianchi, who sadly is not here tonight, but is the boss, of course, at League Zero, that they're full and officially sold out this season. So every race does, from now on, has a name. Indianapolis did not, but that's already been now. So every race from now, this of course being the Salsa Verde Grand Prix of Mexico, presented by Inca Salsa, and of course thanks to Ricardo Espino for sponsoring this one. Sadly down in ninth at the moment, but as we commented earlier, he has already made his pit stop in this one. There's the updated one. There you go. So McAllister coming up next week, Gareth McAllister. James East from round 6. Have we seen him yet this season? James East? I don't remember. I don't think so. There's one to look out for. Norman King and Antonio Bianchi for the Donington Park race. Artur Mayorga, Jaden Callaway, Ryan Tebow for his second race of the season at Suzuka, and then Norman King for his second race of the season at the end at Watkins Glen as well. So a big thanks to all those guys for sponsoring a race over the course of this season. And I like how they don't take it so serious either. Apart from James East, who's just called it the Belgian Grand Prix from Spa. Everybody else is not taking it so seriously.
Yeah, a little bit of a quiet part. It was, well, we didn't have time to even breathe, did we, in the first heat race? Because there was just action absolutely everywhere. Of course, now in the feature race, it's settled itself down as we're just over halfway through this race at the moment. Gives us a chance to do a little bit of a chat. If only JT would drive that fast while I'm racing, says JT.
Yeah, JT Smeehan, who is not here today. Well, I do
Noddy's
wonder
in.
why he doesn't, as Noddy Amel comes in. This could be interesting for the battle for third place. We'll just keep an eye where he comes out as we follow this pit stop. But yeah, I do wonder why he's not able to race, or whether he's watching us, away somewhere each Thursday, because he does always pop in the YouTube chat, but doesn't often race with us. Sadly, he does race in another league we broadcast here on Sunday nights, but he's not racing this league on a Thursday night too regularly. There goes Amel out the pit lane. It will be clean air as well. That's the most important thing for Noddy Amel.
And did you see how the drivers had to go around the inside of the cars, not the outside, for Noddy?
I think they chose to.
Yeah.
Just
okay.
to
yeah. Well, of course,
just
all
to
those
see
cars
their
in there.
lollipop man a bit better, I would expect.
Right. Yeah. He obviously had a good position at the front there, but then, there's those other vehicles on the damage clock, retirements, I think, for most of those drivers, which is Gareth McAllister, Fabian Sanchez, unless they're going to plan on coming out and Fitzsimmons, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, the fact that the cars are still there means they're in the session, but whether they actually come out again or not, it remains to be seen. It does seem that this car has very, very long damage repairs, and you've got to remember, these races aren't really that long. This car sets another fastest lap there. These races, feature races, maximum 45 minutes. That could easily be swept up in entirety in a damage repair. So you can't blame these guys for retiring early if the whole of the rest of the race will be spent down in pit lane.
Yeah, very true. I mean, you want to hope that you can get out there and put some practice laps in at least. You not too much chances of scoring any decent points in the race anymore. But it's practicing under various weather conditions that you're having here. As you said, it's going to be a bit cooler. JT's going to probably give us an answer out there as to why he's not racing when he can race. So just looking at...
Maybe he's going to keep it secret.
Maybe.
I don't know.
That's true.
Hopefully not.
The gap now from Callaway to Noddy is 20, 30? What is it, 38 seconds?
37.
37 seconds. That's massive now that he's got clean air up the road.
Yeah, of course, that pit stop will have cost him quite a lot of time. It was only 4 seconds in the box from ML, but he's got to make use of these new tyres now. I think that flashing light there suggests he's in his cool-down period for the push to pass, and that does make sense to use that at this stage as track temperature continues to come down. Tyres won't be as under pressure as they were earlier, and just look at the way that ML goes through 10-11 here. Look at the way that the rear is a lot more planted. There's a lot less correcting on the exit there than what we saw in qualifying from him, where he was having to make big saves. Or was it in race 1? I think it was in qualifying where he was making big saves through turn 11. That's not happening anymore. The clouds have really come over here. I don't think it's expected to rain, but it is really darkening up at the moment, and ML's in and everybody in a much better tyre position as a result of that.
46% humidity. There's a good chance there could be a bit of rain. Past some lap traffic as well. JT's got the answer out there, so unfortunately it's his time. Well, we figured that something probably about that, isn't it? To run that many laps around Mexico, and he's going to try to qualify for the IndyCar Pro Series, which is unfortunately around the same time. Good luck on that. Absolutely, JT.
Does make sense, yeah, absolutely. Good luck with that. I'm sure he'll be very competitive, but he's a very competitive driver, so he'll, I'm sure, do well there in the IndyCar Pro Series. Thankfully, incidentally, sorry, I didn't realise that was coming back, actually. But, yeah, I think it's second season in a row now, maybe third.
You might be
IndyCar
hearing Ewan's voice circling that one out, who knows?
You probably won't.
Oh, you won't?
I think that's an iRacing in-house done broadcast, and I'm not on those very often, but yeah.
They just wrapped up the NASCAR series. They had, 4 of the championship drivers in the headquarters there of NASCAR, which is quite interesting. I like how they did that. Of course, the 4 championship drivers were all in-house, so they bring their own computers and their own PCs, their own racing rigs and stuff like that in. But of course, they're all there's no difference, of course, with land that they're on because they're all on the same speed there. So that made it nice and fair, I think. There wouldn't be any chances of netcode between those drivers, of course. But there was the other drivers that were racing at home that were also racing at the same on that final race. I can't remember who the victor was, but it was nice to see that they did that. Well, it was $100,000 prize money, isn't it? So split up.
It's quite a big deal. I think I think they've done it for a few seasons now. They definitely did it last season as well as this season, because I don't know if you remember it, the most extraordinary championship finale in 2024 for that series. It was absolutely incredible to see. Parker
I didn't
White
watch it, unfortunately. It's something I have to watch back because we're usually always broadcasting and commentating at the same time when all these other events are going on, as you know too. We don't have the luxury of watching
one of those moments
sports live.
That was I know what you mean. It was 4 wide, 3 of the championship contenders 4 wide in a late race restart. Very exciting, but anyway, that was last season. I didn't catch this season's, unfortunately. JT says, appreciate it. Going to be tough to qualify, but thought he'd give it a go. Hopefully learn some things. I'm sure that will be the case. I don't think, I mean, maybe JT would laugh at me for saying this, almost dumbing it down so much, but it doesn't feel to me as if the Super Formula is that dissimilar to the IndyCar, really. Both quite fast, similar speed open wheelers, that surely there's some transferable skills there, you would have thought.
Yeah, very possible. JT will let us know out there. Also, let us know too, JT, if you happen to tune in to our upcoming races. If you can't make it and you have time, please let us know how that all panned out as well for you. As you can see it back. Marco, whoa!
Hello!
Yeah, approaching pretty quickly. Hello, it'll be like getting his... well, if he didn't have such a commanding lead in this race, he'd probably have his fist waving outside the cockpit there.
Maybe something else.
But I mean, in this case, he's got such a commanding lead. I don't think it's going to be too worried about it costing that much time.
There's Turnbull back out onto the circuit. Mayorga is the one he'll be looking out at, but Autódromo Mayorga has not stopped yet, so it doesn't really matter. Although it will be a battle for now. One of those on old tyres, one of them on new. And is Mayorga going to annoy Turnbull by going down the inside? No. he does not, and that's the sensible thing, really. See a driver come out in front of you on newer tyres like that, there is not much point overtaking them, because you will only be overtaken a couple of corners later, and you can already see the difference as Turnbull races away out of turn number 3. That Mayorga would have been under immediate pressure, and it would have cost them both time. And so Turnbull allowed to get on with his day. He's out behind Jace Meyer by 6 seconds. Both of those two have made stops. Now we're only waiting for the top 3 and Mayorga to stop.
Just keeping an eye out as Nonny's putting those banker laps in. He just set some good lap times there. His last lap was a 23.2. That's the quickest man out there on the track by far, by about a second at least over the rest of the field, because remember he's on the fresh rubber too. So he's trying to see if he can jump a couple of these places. Jump one of the Elliots at some point, I would imagine he's trying to do. I think Callaway might be a little bit out of reach here.
Let's wait and see.
Show the gap on the timing
Camille,
power.
Yeah, there you go. Look at the gaps there. Very, very large gaps. We said at the start of the show, didn't we, that this was going to be a race of mistakes, a race of learning for a lot of people. You know, not many people own this circuit in the first place, and it's certainly bitten a few along the way as well, just because of the nature it's a new circuit, and this is what happens when you take even very well practiced drivers like some of these guys are, certainly towards the front. You know, you got like guys like Fitzsimmons and Sanchez down on pit lane, retired at the end of today. Cesar O'Hare as well, who's retired on lap number 1. You know, these are pretty experienced drivers as far as iRacing goes, but a new circuit, and suddenly everything seems a lot more difficult.
This is going to be a quick lap visit to 22.7. They'll be happy with that. Once again, that's still about 6/10, 7/10 quicker than most of the other drivers on the track at the moment. JT's got an answer for you on that, about how similar they are. We're right on board with Noddy.
I think he probably has done enough now, Noddy, to get ahead of Elliott Rolls, but you never know until that pit stop happens and it's all properly confirmed. So we'll just have to wait a little bit longer to find that one out.
47%.
See whether he's managed it.
Just keeping an eye on if that starts skyrocketing up. Possibility of a few drops, but we're getting in time with 6 laps to go now.
Yeah, I think, you know, it's certainly not early enough for it to have a real effect, as Elliott Court comes into pit lane at the moment as well. It's a second place pit stop from him, and I wonder whether Callaway is going to respond actually now, or whether he will not be bothered. But there's not many laps remaining, of course. Everybody's got to stop at some point to change the 4 tyres, so it's got to be. You do have to do it, and Court goes up on the jacks there briefly. He will not be that far in front of Amel actually, so it's going to be quite close here. Not that close, but Elliott Rolls is certainly going to be fourth. Andy Amel has made a big undercut here on those guys, and he will definitely be in 3rd place, I would suggest.
He's pushing too, you can see. Absolutely pushing, because he knows this is the time he's got to be able to clear Elliott Rolls. If there's a possibility of that one. And at the same time, he's almost 4 seconds down there from Elliott Court, so he's got to apply pressure to Elliott Court as well too. Perhaps still at P2 in this race, barring the situation these other 2 drivers yet to come down pit road. As well as the Toro, Mayorga, he has not yet pitted. He's currently running in P7. Yep, Callaway's in.
Yeah, he does respond. There's part of me that thought he wouldn't really be bothered about Court coming in there, because he had such a big lead, but he's not letting that get to his head at all. He's not getting arrogant with it by any means. He's coming into pit lane right now, and now goes up on the jack. Oh, Fitzsimmons has managed to blow his engine by sitting on pit lane with his engine on for so long, so he will definitely be out the race now, as Elliott Rolls responds as well. So 5 laps to go and the whole field's been in.
So let's have a look at Elliott Court coming around the final corner now. He's going to get Elliott Rolls, you'd say for sure. What about Noddy? It's going to be close.
Yeah. He's got him.
Got him, yeah.
Rolls quite a long way back on pit lane for some reason.
Yeah.
So he's lost a lot of time. It's about now really whether Amel can actually get past Court, but Amel's going to be thinking, what could I have achieved here if I didn't have that early incident with Callaway, who might go on to win this race as a result of that.
Slipstreaming going in the background there for some lap cars. Well, Ben King out there says Hi, F, Squiddy, and I want Elliott Court to win.
That feels like one of those phrases that he's trying to get us to say out loud, because it either means something or sounds like something that we shouldn't have said. So I avoided that, but you've said it now, so we'll have to wonder what it means.
It doesn't seem to be anything gonna trouble anybody out there. If it has, I apologise. Oh, look at the pressure right now. So, Ben, if you are watching this one, this is going to be the big close battle for P2. Elliott Court's going to have to defend off a very charged, fasting Noddy.
Yeah, and sorry, but Elliott Court is not going to win. It will be second place or third, I would suggest, at this stage, unless there's something very dramatic in the final few laps coming up here. Over the line for Callaway again, and that's not a great exit from Court. Look at the push to pass already used by Noddy Amel here. Oh my word, look at the speed difference as they come across the start finish line. He's racing past. Noddy Amel races past. Elliott Court here, how much push to pass has he got left, I wonder? And is he still using it? Maybe not, actually, as he gets past. Court gets straight into his slipstream and doesn't use any himself, so that was weird. But Amel goes straight through, and no response from Elliott Court, who goes over the curb and slides. That might well be that. That might well be Noddy Amel confirmed second, and Court down to third after he clips the curb hard there.
Yeah, we saw that was riding on board, isn't it? He just literally jumps the car up into the air, no traction. Good save. Now he's got a bit of work to do to try to catch up to Noddy. Steal that P2 back away. We also had a moment there where it looks like Nicholas has had an incident in the Belgium livery. Still looking for a team.
Belgium?
Sorry. Benetton. Boom! Into the fence.
Straight on. Belgium has green on the flag, does it? New development. Yeah, Benetton from the 90s. Just, I don't really know what he's, I guess, got on the curb here, and yeah.
Slips in the marbles.
Too deep and see later. Oh, that is a shame for Isidro, as Callaway sets another fastest lap of the race. He's making absolutely sure that he gets the fastest lap points at the end here. If I was him as well, I mean, he'll put the push to pass on soon as well himself, but give it one more go with the whole lap used to push to pass and just make absolutely sure he's going to get the fastest lap. 22.6 is only 1/10 quicker than Noddy Amel, who previously had the fastest lap for a long time here, so he's going to go as fast as possible to try and get those bonus points. He's already got the most bonus points, by the way, of anybody this season through fastest laps and pole positions and so on. He's already had a pole, for example, as Callaway, and he will have accumulated some more bonus points tonight, but can he seal those final ones here with the fastest lap in race 2?
And he'll go straight to the top of the driver's standings, no doubt, with his results this evening. Elliott Court will slide down to that P2 position, and Noddy Amel, you would imagine, would slide up to that P3. Because we didn't have Perez, unfortunately, to be here to defend his current P3 in the championship.
Yeah, I'd imagine Rolls will slide up to 4th then in that case as well. And that will be that, so a few positions in the front 4 will change, but I think this is a real marker being laid down by Jaden Callaway, isn't it? He's well ahead of Elliott Court in this race. He won the first one as well, with Court down in 3rd. That will be a few points because the sprint race isn't actually that points heavy. Feature race is a little bit more, but doubling up on a day is massive. Court finishing 3rd and 4th, clearly not his best circuit, and for Callaway to take advantage of it in this way is fantastic for him. I think he'll be less than 20 points off the championship lead now after just 4 rounds, and you say that's basically nothing with still 7 rounds to go.
And unfortunately with Fitzsimmons as well too, that was going wheel to wheel. Door banging essentially with Callaway in our heat race. It's unfortunate we didn't have Fitzsimmons to be in this race to see what could have been the situation as well too with himself. And Sanchez is always a driver that's capable of getting wins, capable of getting good results. And unfortunately he's had to retire from this one as well. For the Inca salsa. Get your fresh homemade salsa, my friend.
Absolutely, this is the Salsa Verde Grand Prix of Mexico presented by Inca Salsa and Ricardo Espino, who has kindly sponsored this race. 9th position for him at the moment. Looks like he's going to be the last of the finishers though, and that would be quite an achievement considering half the field has retired. The other half to finish have done a good job themselves as one of the lap cars in front of Callaway here, just making sure they get lapped one more time here at the end. as Callaway pulls onto the front straight again. Looks, there's another fastest lap from him, a 22.3. I'd imagine he'll put the push to pass on now and try and do another one. Or will he? Oh, there's a lap car in front of him. I'm not sure whether they were trying to give him slipstream or not, but that's not going to be great for his lap time.
You might never know. We'll see. There it is. Look how much he had left. He's obviously saved it for any possibility of covering off an attack from somebody in this race.
Yeah, you know, it's not what, you know, you shouldn't use it pointlessly when you're out front already by a lot of seconds. You should do what he's done here and keep it back just in case, but we could have put it on the second last lap and given it a go there. I wonder how much that incident or indeed altercation in towards turn one actually will have cost him here, but it's minor things really. It's tenths here or there as he tries to stay within the white lines just about. That was pretty close. He's just aiming for these final points here as he comes into the stadium section now. Last time he was coming into this section, of course, the win was by no means secure as he was battling with Finley Fitzsimmons for the win. In the end, he battled through to get that one in the sprint race. He's going to dominate the feature race to win here at Mexico City. Across the start-finish line for Jaden Callaway, and he wins here both times in the Salsa Verde Grand Prix of Mexico, presented by Inca Salsa. He sets the fastest lap again. What about Noddy Amel further behind? He'll be on the push to pass here, trying to respond to that. In fact, he's on the cool down at the moment, so he crosses the line and won't go any quicker. Callaway gets the bonuses and the double race win. It's a dream day for Jaden Callaway, and Elliot Court will take some damage in this championship fight.
The rest of the drivers, and guess what? He set the fastest lap on that last lap. It was a 22 flat.
Wow.
I was thinking maybe he could do the 21s. Well, I'd take a 22 flat any day of the week. Good job for that. And,
you know, imagine what would have happened if he wasn't slightly delayed in towards turn one as well. There was that bit of side by side on the way towards turn one. You know, that cost him 0.03 of a second or more, I would say. And that would have got him into the 21s. That would have been spectacular to see.
Absolutely amazing performance. There's a few more drivers have to make their way around into the stadium section for the final time. There's the Paddock Club up there. You can get you some Paddock Club tickets there, Ewan, but you have no time, my friend, to go travelling around the world visiting GPs.
No, it's not on the top of my bucket list of sporting events to see, I must admit. Even though I'm sure the atmosphere is great in that stadium section around this circuit. I can't say it's particularly high on my bucket list, but there you go. Don't you think being sat at one corner for a Formula 1 race would be a bit dull?
I like actually walking around. I've done that for this. I've been in a Paddock Club and in grandstands in the Melbourne GP a couple of times, but just the general mission walking around the track is probably one of the most fun I ever had. Go on different spots. Yeah, I agree. But there you go. There's the exit. That's for Spanish. The rest of the Jaden Callaway has taken victory. 15 seconds this time, a lot less close than the first time round. Noddy Amel and Elliot Rolls on the podium, with Elliot Court and James Meyer rounding out the top five. James Turnbull was the last driver on the lead lap, with Xavier Seneb, Arturo Mayorga and Ricardo Espino the only other drivers to get to the end. Nicholas Isidro rounded out the top 10 despite retiring there. And earlier on in the race, in the first half of the race, all of these retired. Jack Mundy, Robert Nobles, Carlos Balanos, Gareth McAllister, Fabian Sanchez, Finley Fitzsimmons, Sergio O'Hare and Norman King didn't start. So a long list of retirements here. I think that's what we expected from tonight, Biggles, to be honest, from the Autódromo Hermanos Rodríguez. First of all, not many people getting the circuit straight away here on iRacing, to be expected always. You know, it's not expected by any means that all these drivers purchase the circuit immediately, but it's nice to have a new circuit in iRacing. I think it races really well. I think the sprint race just demonstrated that, even if the feature race did get spread out quite early on. Yeah, no, you're right on that one. It was certainly an interesting race, and certainly super exciting course. Well, for as you said, the first heat race, and then things cooled down a little bit as drivers got used to more of a more laps under the belt, of course, on that one. We'll just see if anybody... Look at this action at the start of the race, of course. You could see where Callaway is, just seeing these three cars up the road, just seeing how all that shenanigans pays out, and so he can keep his nose clean. And there's one, as you can see, goes around. Lucky he didn't
There's the
get taken
contact.
out there. Yeah, there's contact behind him
I
with
think
Fitzsimmons and
that incident
Sanchez.
right there is one of the reasons why the field felt so spread out actually in that race. Imagine if you have Fitzsimmons and Fabian Sanchez in that front five as well. You know, suddenly it starts to feel very congested and there's a lot of racing going on there. But unfortunately, they were taken out through the opening lap and dropped to the back end of the field. And that was that, unfortunately, for them. And indeed for the race as well. This is ML versus... who was leading at the time? Elliot Court, wasn't it? Yeah, out front. Yeah, and you know, with hindsight, Callaway was going to do well to not win this race, but it's the incident at the end of race 1 with Fitzsimmons and the start of race 2 with ML, which is going to cast doubt over his night a little bit.
Absolutely. Well, we finally came here. First time. Was it the first time for you?
No, I just did a race on Tuesday around here.
Okay.
But apart from that, yeah, it was my first time. As I say, I think the circuit does race really well, and I'm very glad that it's in iRacing. Let's see if Elliot Rolls feels the same. See finish. Oh, they're starting to trickle in now. I guess they realise we're waiting for them. We'll go for Elliot Rolls first since he was there first, finishing in third place in race 2 tonight. Elliot, welcome in. Good to have you with us, and congrats on rescuing a podium in race 2 tonight after finishing the first race down in 14th position. How did you find your evening in Mexico City?
Race 1 wasn't particularly good. Well, you noticed I was in 14th. Yeah, so I just took a moment to myself, got back into the car, and just decided to send it. If I crash, I crash.
And in the end, you didn't. You managed to get up to third. I must admit, we didn't see your eventual pass on Elliot Court towards the end there. What happened late on in that one between the two of you?
I made a strategy call to not take tyres because I figured the warm-up and all that wouldn't be worth it on the track like this. Court took the tyres, was really slow, and just spun it. So I was able to shoot past.
Yeah, so we saw him have a half spin with Noddy ML, but yeah, it's definitely that. It does explain a lot, actually. The tyre situation. What is it like in these Super Formulas track to track? Does it really vary over the course, or is it just this circuit where the warm up makes it not worth taking tyres at all?
Normally, the warm-up is fine, but I have a theory that because of the altitude, the aero isn't working properly, which means you can't really rely on that grip during the warm-up. That's my theory, at least.
I'm not sure on the science, but it sounds like it makes sense to me. So I'm happy to go with that as well. But Elliot, congrats on, as I say, rescuing the third place here tonight in race number 2. And thanks for coming to chat to us afterwards, as always.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks so much. Elliot Rolls third place in race 2. And in race 1, Elliot Court was in third place, fourth in the second. Elliot, welcome in. Good to have you with us. A bit of a dent into your championship lead today, but a third and a fourth place finish. How are you feeling after that one?
Yeah, it certainly wasn't the best race, but this track it drives so much differently to anything else we race at. It's because it's at such high altitude. The air is so thin. It's like you just have no downforce. It doesn't feel like you're driving a Super Formula car. If it honestly drives more like a prototype or even like an LMP2 car. So yeah, I should have done more practice. I only really actually started practicing this track yesterday, or even earlier today actually. But yeah, certainly should have done more practice, and yeah, I just didn't get used to it quick enough.
Elliot Rolls just mentioned to us a little bit about the tyre warm-up phase and the fact that he skipped tyres as a result of avoiding that. Is that something you wish you'd done now as well in race 2?
Yeah, I mean, I was sort of, at the time I pitted, I had a 10-second gap behind to him, and then I had like 7 seconds in front to Jaden. So I was like, I don't know. I was thinking just take tyres because I was really struggling with the balance anyway. Like I was trying to do whatever with the brake bars to help it. It wasn't working. It was just understeering and oversteering at the same time, pretty much. It was a bit of a pain, but yeah. So I took tyres. Was a massive mistake. They under such low load didn't warm up whatsoever, and yeah, just lost like chunks and chunks of time and had a little spin, another half spin with Noddy as well. So yeah, it was a big mistake taking tyres.
Well, of course, it's always easier to tell after the race has actually happened. But third and fourth place tonight, either way, congrats on that, Elliot, tonight. And thanks very much for coming to have a chat with us.
Yeah, cheers, guys.
Thanks very much, Elliot Court, who finishes in third and fourth, as I mentioned, in the 2 races tonight. That's just about it from us here tonight from Mexico City. It's been great fun to come to a new circuit in the League Zero Super Formula Championship. I'm not sure if anyone's keeping track even of how many circuits this series has been to over the many years, and indeed many seasons. But there's 11 of them, and this is a new one in red for us here today. A bit of a new format, at least compared to last season, is the single race weekend, and we've got 2 of those this season. The first of them is next week from Imola, 35 laps for the It's Not My Birthday Grand Prix. Not sure what that's about. We'll find out from Gareth McAllister next week, I suppose, when we line up in round 5 of the League Zero Super Formula Championship. This has been round 4, though, from the Autódromo Hermanos Rodríguez. Thanks to everybody for watching along tonight. I've been Ewan alongside Team Biggles. Until we see you next week for that 5th race from Imola, it's goodbye for now.